now when you have kids, the experience is different now.
Yes.
You know, it's
Yes.
different because now your kids are able to grow in this type of, you know, awareness and manner. I mean, we see them right here. I mean,
Yes.
I'm opportune to see their growth, man. I'll tell
Yeah.
you, I was just having a conversation tonight with Brill. I was like, man, dude, it's not even up to 1 year. Look at where you are right now.
Right.
It's just a matter of months.
Yes.
And man, I'm just so excited to see where you're gonna be
Yes.
in like by the end of this year in December. I'm just excited to see
Yes.
that, right? But you know, going back to everything is like, okay, he's not out here trying to look for something, right? That, like you said, like, okay, missing whatnot, right? Like just having that parents that already has that cultivated within them and
Yes.
just teaching him and everything, right? So now that sets a foundation where, oh, I don't expect anything from you growing up because I'm not looking for whatever it is, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that
Yeah.
is so beautiful, man.
Yeah, man. But now allow me to take the conversation into the next direction, right?
Yes.
You know, because you said it, you were like, I have these expectations of people, you know, because I treat them in this manner and they don't
Yes.
treat me back in this manner, right?
Yes.
And it what popped into my head is like, so, well, what does a person do when the object of their desire and affection doesn't reciprocate, right? Like, what do you do when the person you love doesn't love you? What do you do when the person that you want don't want you? What do you do when, you know, the job that you know, quote unquote love,
Yes.
right, doesn't
Ooh.
reciprocate, you know, its affections towards you as an employee?
Wow.
Right? Like, you know,
Yes.
and the list can go on and on. Like, you know, like, because I believe that present day, a lot of people find themselves in that situation
A lot.
like
A
all
lot.
the time, right? Like, you
Yes.
know, and then it's caused them to get stuck and very stagnated because it feels like, you know, they're like, well, I am, you know, where I am a good person, I'm this and I'm that, and I give
everything.
right, I give everything, I do everything, and you know, and so now they're and I could even hear their speeches like, I want to be with a person that's going to take care of me and that's going to do this laundry list of things for me. I want to be on a job that's going to appreciate me and that's going to, you know, this laundry list of things for me, right? Because that, you know, especially like on LinkedIn, I always find it very interesting or amusing because there's a lot of leadership stuff that goes on out there, and people always post like, you know, a good leader XXX and does all these things, right? Like, you know, so yeah, it leaves the person that's looking for these things, whether it's in their job or whether in their friendships or their intimate relationships or whatever, you know, feeling like, man, I do all this, I give all this energy, but it's not being reciprocated. So what do I do?
Yes, yes. Ooh. Oh man, that is like really heavy, man. You know, that is really heavy. Oh man, you know, I mean, I know you have an answer to that, but I will tell you this, right? Because I just had this conversation with someone like 2 days ago. This same conversation right here, right? And one thing I let them know from my own perspective was let go, right? Because especially with work, like this place is like, man, I serve, you know, until amounts of years in this, you know, in this job right here. I gave everything, but the whole time they made me feel like, you know, I was less, I was worthless, I was this, that, you know, and then they just, you know, fired me, right? And, you know, my response was like, yeah, all those stuff is not happening, you know, against you, it's happening for you, right? To like set you up for the better future. Because in all honesty, you are bigger than the environment, right? You are bigger than that place. Because you know that job, you know, they just is a different paradigm, right? Where they just put you in this box. And yeah, my response was like, you have to let go of that, right? Like, you know, they don't owe you anything, you don't owe them anything, right? You have to let go of that. And then I gave her the artistry of letting go. You have to listen to it if you haven't, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I gave her that, right? But now to just hear this right here, right now, it's like, wait a minute. Okay, so let go is what I'll do first. But what do you think is the proper way to handle the situation right here?
I think it goes back to one of the points that we made earlier, that as we're younger, we are conditioned to perceive the world from inward out, right? So we're first person looking at and perceiving everything and taking information in. And then that information gets processed, stored, remembered, and then we use the collective information to like now further our pursuits and exploration of the world. And it's the same thing with relationships, right? So now we become like, oh, I find this person here, and I'm going to project some energies towards them, right? I'm going to project some love towards them. Oh, the love doesn't get returned to me from them, right? And I think the trap that lies in the expectation of the fulfillment from external sources, which is we've talked about that, is like it's shows you, it's those are indications of within yourself where your cultivation need to be.
Yes.
And at some point in your from childhood to adulthood, now you have to start learning to perceive the world from inward out.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Where like meaning or you have to start to perceive the world inward now, right? Like you have to see the world that exists within, and how does that correlate, and affect the world that exists externally, right? Like, yeah. So like, if you're like, I'm cultivating this love for this person and I express love towards them, and they don't give it back towards me, like, if you believe that you should be the recipient of something in the expression of love from someone, then I don't think we've had the conversation about love. Then you didn't truly understand the word itself, because especially when we broke down the unconditional aspect of it, the love that I express to people, it's because it's something that I've already cultivated within me, and I have it in abundance. So when I'm not giving it with the expectation of it being returned to me from someone, because like I have so much of it, right? I can never run out of it, right? So there's no, it is not necessary for the external environment to impress anything upon me, because I'm walking with everything that I potentially need, right? So when I'm, and I can apply that to any facet. I can apply that to my employment. Like, I'm not looking for validation from a supervisor or X, Y, and Z, right? If I'm in a particular environment and I'm working there with it's a business. I recognize that this is a business that requires for me to show up, hit certain responsibilities and requirements. I fulfill those, but the manner in which I fulfill those is just, okay, this is what you need for me to do. I do it, right? But there's no expectation or requirement or need for you for the environment, the work environment, to have any type of impression on me, right? As long as when I check my bank account on, the times that I'm supposed to get paid, because that's what this is. It's a transactional type of relationship. And I understand, in order for this business to be a business, it needs that. It has to have some transactions, right? So my external can't impress upon my internal to form any type of validation, right? Like, I don't need your opinions on my character, and hey, let me tell you, no, thank you, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, thank you, but no thank you, right? Or feel free to keep them. I don't need your, well, let me tell you what you need to do, right? Like,
tell what you need to work on,
right? Like, I mean, and it's not that I'm being closed off from, but I live internally, and the world how my world is set up and functions internally is, and how I choose to express those energies, is what matters to me, right? So, and I'm very intentional about that. And if I express love towards everybody? I do not. I've said that already.
Yeah,
I've been
I've
on
said
record and
that
say that.
already.
Like,
Yeah.
there's some people I just don't.
Yeah.
But there are many people that I express love towards, not with the intention for any reciprocation. It's just that I have an abundance, and I'm like, let me go ahead and project that, right?
Make sure to subscribe and like our podcast. All right.